A woman stands in front of a fire. Her husband has just fought a war to get her back, and he has told her to go. He said it in front of the whole army. He does not want her. She has lived in another man's house. So she asks his brother to build the fire higher. She walks around it once, and then she walks into it. That scene is in the oldest surviving version of this story. It is not the version most people are actually told. In another telling, the one recited across northern India, the woman in that fire was never abducted at all. A copy went. A shadow. The real one had been hidden inside the flames since before the golden deer ever appeared. Same characters, same war, same fire, and a completely different thing happening inside it, meaning something completely different. This is the Ramayana, and the most important fact about it is the one that always gets dropped first. There is no such thing as the Ramayana. There is a Sanskrit poem attributed to Valmiki. There is an Awadhi poem by Tulsidas. There is a Tamil epic by Kamban. There are Jain versions in which the hero kills nobody. There are Thai, Javanese, Khmer, and Balinese versions. They are not corruptions of one another. Together they are the tradition. Naming which one you mean is the difference between two different endings. So here is the promise. The whole story, front to back, all 7 books, including the last one that most retellings quietly drop. And every time a detail is handed to you, the text it came from will be named out loud. One more thing before we start. This is not dead mythology. It is living scripture for hundreds of millions of people right now. So we will describe what the texts say. Where they disagree, we will say so. We will not tell anybody which one is true. Start with the count, because the count is the argument. In 1950, a Belgian Jesuit scholar living in India published a survey of the Rama story. His name was Camille Bolka. Writing in Hindi, he traced the story across languages and centuries and arrived at a figure of roughly 300 tellings. Later scholars called that an undercount. In 1987, the poet and scholar A.K. Ramanujan built a conference paper on Bolka's number. Its title was 300 Ramayanas, 5 Examples, and 3 Thoughts on Translation. It was printed 4 years later in a volume called Many Ramayanas. His argument was not that these are variants of some original. It was that telling is the right word, and each telling is somebody's entire Ramayana. What happened to that essay is now part of the story. Delhi University set it as required reading for history undergraduates from 2006. A student organization objected that it insulted Hindu sentiment. The Delhi High Court told the university to convene experts. 3 of the 4 said, "Keep it." In October 2011, the Academic Council removed it anyway. A scholarly point about plurality had become a public argument about who owns the text, which tells you exactly how alive this material is. Now the layers themselves, because without them nothing that follows will hold still. Layer 1. Valmiki's Sanskrit poem. Close to 24,000 verses, arranged in 7 books, its oldest core usually dated centuries before the Common Era. Books 2 through 6 are that core. The first book and the last book are widely regarded by scholars as later additions, absent from the oldest manuscript. And in the core, Rama is a man, an extraordinary man, but a man. The plain statement that he is Vishnu sits out at the poem's edges. Layer 2, Tulsidas, writing in the Awadhi vernacular of northern India from 1574. The Ramcharitmanas, made to be sung, not studied. Here Rama is God from the opening, unambiguously. This is the text recited in North Indian homes, and the Ramlila street plays are staged out of it. Layer 3. Kamban's Tamil epic, 12th century. It runs to 6 books. Kamban simply does not write a 7th. Another poet supplied one afterwards. Layer 4. The Jain retellings, the oldest attributed to Vimalasuri in Prakrit. And in these, Ravana is not a demon in any sense at all. He is a Vidyadhara, one of a civilized, sky-faring people. The Rakshasas are devout Jains. The monkeys are a clan who carry a monkey on their banner. And Rama does not kill him, because a Jain exemplar does not kill. Lakshmana does it. Rama ends his own life as a monk. Layer 5. The story leaves India entirely. In Old Javanese there is a long poem, a kakawin, composed somewhere around the 9th or 10th century. In Thailand there is the Ramakien, given its standing form under Rama I, and painted along the gallery walls at Wat Phra Kaew in Bangkok. Hold all of that. From here on, when you hear the words the Ramayana says, the honest question is, which one? And half the internet stops working. Which brings us straight to the thing the internet is most confidently wrong about, and it is not the plot. It is Ravana. Start with what he is not. In Valmiki, he is not a beast and he is not a stranger. His father Vishrava is a Brahmin sage. His grandfather Pulastya is one of the great seers. Ravana is described as versed in the 4 Vedas and the 6 Shastras, a scholar and a king. He rules a prosperous island city. He is a devotee of Shiva. Later tradition makes him a master of the Veena and credits learned treatises to his name. Now the correction almost nobody expects. You will be told online that the 10 heads are purely symbolic. In Valmiki Sanskrit they are not. They are literal. The poem describes him plainly. 10 faces, 20 arms, a broad chest scarred by the weapons of gods, refined gold in his ear knobs, cat's eye gems on his ornaments. The symbolic readings are real, but they came later. One popular gloss counts the heads as the 4 Vedas and the 6 Shastras, his learning worn as faces. The Jain tellings go further and rationalize him completely. There the heads are a reflection. A necklace of 9 gems his mother gave him, throwing his face back 9-fold. And the body was earned. He starved through an austerity lasting 10,000 years, and at the close of each 1,000-year stretch he cut off one of his own heads. Each went into the fire. When he reached for the last, Brahma appeared, stopped him, gave every severed head back, and offered him a boon. He asked not to be killed. Not by gods, not by Nagas or Yakshas, not by Datyas or Danavas, and not by his fellow Rakshasas. There is the flaw, and it is precise. Not pride in the abstract, an itemized contempt. He never bothered to name humans. He never thought of monkeys. Book 1, the Balakanda, the Book of Childhood. Keep in mind that scholars treat this one as a later frame welded onto the older poem. It opens with the poet. Valmiki sees a hunter shoot one of a mating pair of birds, and grief comes out of his mouth already in meter. That is the tradition's account of how the verse form was born. The first shloka in the world, made of pity. Then Brahma commissions the epic itself. Now Ayodhya. King Dasharatha has 3 queens and no son. He performs a great sacrifice. A figure rises from the fire holding a vessel of divine payasam. The queens drink. Kausalya bears Rama, Kaikeyi bears Bharata, Sumitra bears the twins, Lakshmana and Shatrugna, and Lakshmana fixes himself to Rama like a shadow. The sage Vishvamitra arrives and asks for the boys. Demons are wrecking his sacrifices. He takes Rama and Lakshmana into the wilderness and teaches them weapons. Rama is a boy with a bow, and that is already the defining image of him. He kills the demoness Tataka. He drives the demon Maricha out across the sea. Remember that name. Maricha. He survives this, and the story is going to need him again at the worst possible moment. Then Vishvamitra takes them to Mithila, where King Janaka keeps an object, a bow that belonged to Shiva, handed down through the family for safekeeping. Janaka has set a condition for his daughter. Whoever can string it may marry her. 5,000 men are needed just to drag its case into the hall. And his daughter has no birth mother. Janaka found her in the furrow while plowing a ritual field. He named her for the furrow itself, Sita. Rama lifts the bow, bends it to test the string, and it snaps at the middle with a noise like thunder coming down. Half the hall faints. He marries Sita. Book 2. The Ayodhya Kanda. Old core and the finest sustained writing in the poem. Dasharatha is old and announces that Rama will be installed as heir. The city decorates itself overnight, and in the women's quarters a hunchbacked servant named Manthara sees the banners going up and goes to find her mistress. Kaikeyi is delighted. Rama is her favorite. Manthara works on her patiently until delight turns into fear for her own son, and the fear turns into a plan. Because Kaikeyi is owed something. Long ago, in a war between gods and demons, she saved Dasharatha's life on the field, and he promised her 2 boons. She has never spent them. She goes down onto the floor of a bare room, tears off her ornaments, and waits for her husband in the dark. He comes, she names the price. Bharata is to be installed instead, and Rama is to go into the Dandaka forest as an ascetic for 14 years. Dasharatha breaks. He begs, he faints, he offers anything else. But the word of a king of this line cannot be withdrawn, and everyone in the room knows it. Rama is told. He does not argue for 1 second. That instant compliance is the moral engine of the entire story. It is also what makes him hard to like. He puts on bark. Sita refuses to be left behind. Lakshmana refuses to be left behind. The 3 walk out, and the city follows them weeping to the river. Dasharatha dies of it within days, calling his son's name. The poem gives a reason. Long ago he shot a hermit's son by accident and was cursed to die of grief. Bharata comes home to a funeral and a throne. He refuses it flatly. He calls his mother a killer and goes into the forest to bring his brother back. Rama will not come, so Bharata asks for his sandals instead, carries them home, and sets them on the throne. He rules from a seat beside them as a regent. So the exile begins. Nobody in this book is a villain except 1 servant and 1 frightened mother, and the poem will not let you hate either of them cleanly. Book 3. The Aranya Kanda, the forest. Years pass in hermitages. Sages give Rama weapons. The 3 of them settle at a place called Panchavati. Then Ravana's sister arrives, Shurpanakha. She sees Rama and wants him, and he deflects her toward his brother, and his brother deflects her straight back. It is teasing, and it is cruel, and it goes wrong. She turns on Sita and moves to devour her. Rama gives his brother a signal. Lakshmana draws his sword and cuts off her ears and nose in front of everyone. She flees screaming into the trees. Nothing after this is recoverable. She goes to her brother Kara. Kara sends an army of 14,000. Rama fights them alone and the field is emptied. Then she goes to Lanka. She stands in front of Ravana and describes Sita to him deliberately in detail as an insult and as a lure, and it works. Ravana goes to Maricha, the same demon Rama drove into the sea as a boy, and orders him to become a deer. Maricha knows exactly how this ends. The disguise Valmiki gives him is not subtle. Antler tips of sapphire, hooves like lapis, a hide dappled with the colors of ores and stippled all over with silver, one cheek red as a lotus and the other blue, and a raised tail shining in the colors of a rainbow. It grazes where Sita cannot fail to see it. She asks for it. Rama goes. Maricha leads him far out and, dying, throws his voice. A cry in Rama's own voice calling Lakshmana for help. Sita hears it. She orders Lakshmana to go. He refuses. She accuses him of wanting her. He goes, and the hut is empty, and that is the whole trap. A wandering ascetic asks for alms at the door. She steps out over the threshold to feed him. He is Ravana, and the chariot is already moving. One creature tries to stop it. An old vulture named Jatayu, a friend of Rama's dead father, who tears into the chariot in midair and brings it down. Ravana cuts off his wings. Rama finds him dying in the grass, holds him, and burns him with the rites owed to a father. Then the search begins. Book 4. The Kishkinda Kanda. Rama and Lakshmana come south into monkey country and meet the exiled King Sugriva through his minister Hanuman. Sugriva has a brother problem. Vali chased a demon into a cave, was gone a very long time, and then blood came out of the mouth of it. Sugriva sealed the cave, assumed his brother was dead, and took the throne. Vali came out alive, read it as betrayal, and drove him into exile. Rama makes a bargain, kill Vali, get an army. Sugriva challenges his brother, the two of them grapple, and Rama shoots Vali from behind a tree. The poem does not hide this. Dying, Vali asks it directly. He took my wife and my kingdom, so what was my crime, and what gave you the right? Rama answers with law and kingship and dharma, and readers have argued about that answer ever since. The text preserves the accusation anyway, word for word. Sugriva takes the throne, and then does nothing at all through the monsoon. Lakshmana has to walk into his hall furious before the search is finally ordered. Parties go out in 4 directions. The southern party reaches the sea and stops. 100 yojanas of open water, the poem says, and nobody can jump it. Book 5. The Sundara Kanda, the beautiful book. It is the only one named for a quality instead of a place, and it belongs entirely to Hanuman. He is a Vanara, son of Anjana and the Vanara chief Kusari, and fathered by Vayu, the wind. As a child, he had been made to forget his own strength. The old bear Jambavan reminds him of it on the shore. And Hanuman grows, sets his hands and feet on Mount Mahendra, and throws himself off it. 3 things happen over the water. A mountain rises out of the sea to offer him a rest, and he strikes it aside out of politeness and haste. A serpent demoness blocks him with an open mouth, so he shrinks to the size of a thumb, passes through, and comes out. He kills the 3rd. He arrives at night above a fortified city and shrinks himself again to the size of a cat to search it. Room after room, she is in none of them. He finds her outside, in a grove of Ashoka trees, sitting on bare ground under guard, thin, filthy, refusing to look at the demon who owns the garden. He drops Rama's ring in front of her. That is the hinge of the whole epic, not a battle, a small object falling into the lap of a prisoner. He offers to carry her out on his back. She refuses. If she is rescued, it will be by her husband in the open, not stolen a second time. So he gets himself caught on purpose. Dragged into the throne room, he lectures the king of Lanka on the subject of returning another man's wife. Ravana orders his tail set alight. Hanuman lets them wrap it and light it, then leaps roof to roof and burns the city down with the tail they lit. This book is why Hanuman is worshipped and not merely admired. Many recite the Sundara Kanda alone on Tuesdays and Saturdays when there is no time for the rest. Book 6, the Yuddha Kanda, the War. And it opens with a family argument inside Lanka, which is the part most retellings hurry straight past. Ravana's own brother tells him to give her back. Vibhishana argues the case in open court on plain grounds. This is wrong, and it will destroy us. He is insulted and thrown out. So he crosses the water and offers himself to the enemy, and Rama accepts him against the advice of nearly everybody. Then the sea. Rama sits on the shore for 3 days, asking the ocean to let him pass. The ocean ignores him, so he raises a weapon at it. The ocean surfaces and proposes an alternative. In the army there is an engineer, Nala, son of the divine architect, who can build across water. The Vanaras tear up sal and palmyra and mango and bilva, roll boulders and whole peaks into the sea, and lay a causeway along a line of cord. It goes up in 5 days, widening as it goes, and Valmiki says it looked from above like the milky band of stars laid across the water. The army crosses, and the siege begins with the largest single body in the epic being woken up by elephants walking across his chest. Kumbhakarna, Ravana's giant brother, who once stood in front of Brahma to ask a boon and had his tongue redirected by the goddess of speech. He asked for sleep, years of it. They wake him with drums and meat, and he walks out and eats his way through the ranks before he goes down. Then the real problem. Ravana's son. Born Meghanada, Thundercry, and renamed Indrajit after he defeated the king of the gods in single combat. He fights from inside invisibility. He pins Rama and Lakshmana to the ground with a weapon made of serpents, and the eagle Garuda has to come and undo it. The brothers go down more than once. Hanuman flies north for 4 herbs growing on a peak between Kailasa and the Himalaya and cannot find them. So he takes the mountain. He uproots the whole peak, carries it back over the sea, and the wounded army is healed by the smell of it. Indrajit's last trick is the cruelest. He conjures an image of Sita, sets her weeping in his chariot, and cuts her down in front of Hanuman. It is an illusion, and the monkeys do not know that, and they break. Lakshmana finally kills him mid-ritual at a shrine on Vibhishana's information, which leaves the king. Ravana comes out himself, and Valmiki gives Rama a chariot sent down from heaven, because otherwise the two are not matched. Heads are struck off and grow back. It ends the only way it can. An arrow into the chest, and the 10-headed king going off his chariot onto the field. And now the scene we started with, and it is worse than the summaries admit. Sita is brought to him, washed and adorned, in front of the whole army. Valmiki has Rama say he fought for his honor and his family name, not for her, that she is as unwelcome to his sight as a lamp to a sore eye. Then this, I permit you, go where you like, all the directions are open to you. Go to my brother, go to Vibhishana, go anywhere at all. She answers him in front of everybody. Why did you send Hanuman to find me? You could have told me then, and I would have died then. Then she asks Lakshmana to build the fire, and walks into it. And the fire god carries her out unburnt, and puts her back into Rama's hands. and the gods gather and tell Rama something he did not know, that he is Vishnu and she is Lakshmi. He answers that he thinks of himself as a man. Then home. The exile ends to the day. Lamps along the route into Ayodhya, a coronation, and a reign that later texts hold up as the model of good government. And that is where most retellings stop. Kamban stops there. Many stage productions stop there. It is a complete and satisfying ending. It is not the last book. Book 7. The Uttara Kanda. Scholars largely agree it was added later. It reads differently, and it contains material the tradition has argued over ever since. Rama's friend Bhadra reports what the streets are saying. The king took back a woman who sat in Ravana's lap. Now ordinary husbands will be expected to do likewise. Sita is pregnant. Rama sends Lakshmana to drive her out to the forest and to leave her there, without telling her why until they have arrived. Valmiki himself takes her in. She bears twin sons in his hermitage, Lava and Kusha, and the poet raises them and teaches them a poem. The poem is this one. Years later, the boys sing the Ramayana at their father's horse sacrifice, in public, without knowing whose sons they are. Rama offers to take her back if she swears an oath before the assembly. She swears by the earth instead. If I have thought of no man but him, receive me. A throne comes up out of the ground carried by serpents. The earth goddess embraces her, seats her, and takes her down. Flowers fall. She does not come back. This book also holds the episode of Shambhuka, an ascetic of low birth whom Rama kills for practicing austerity, and in the text the gods applaud. Reformers and Dalit writers have hammered that passage for over a century. Many traditions treat the whole book as interpolated. Both of those responses are part of the story now. So which ending is the Ramayana's ending? The fire and the crown, or the earth closing over her? It depends entirely on which book you are holding. That is not a defect in the tradition. It is what a story looks like when it has stayed alive in 100 languages for more than 2,000 years. The bow, the deer, the leap, the bridge. Everybody agrees on those. It is the ending that every generation has had to decide for itself.